Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon. And then I post it up to Facebook. And then I do these Q&As on Wednesday. And then I post them up to Facebook. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka, done. I'd like to thank my sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp. BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. They're an online therapy company. They are international. They are all over. If you need to get to a therapist, just go in, fill out some questions, and they will put you with a licensed professional PhD or master's level therapist. If you don't like the therapist you have in your state, they'll place you with somebody else in your state, licensed professional, master's level or PhD level. I've had really good feedback. People like them. They're getting some good help there. They can do, the therapist can do chatting. They can do email. They can do video. So this is really some good options for people if they have a hard time getting a loan to do their therapy sessions. So thank you, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. Okay, on to the questions. Hold on. Okay. How do I deal with triggers? If I see someone who looks like my abuser, I freak out. Oh, hun, you're not alone. So that's normal. That is totally normal. So remember, our amygdala is there to keep us safe. So when something reminds us of a thing or a time that we were harmed, the amygdala is going to freak out. It's just going to freak out because it's trying to keep you safe. So as soon as you have that initial shock, and it is going to be an initial shock, you are going to be like, and have that kind of shock response. But as soon as you realize, oh, it's not them, then you just got to be like, okay, you know what? Stand down. I'm okay. Everything's fine. I'm not going to get hurt. It's okay. That's not my abuser. Thank you very much. Thank you for your input. Shut the bleep up. Do you see where I'm going with that? So you're going to have to do that. And that is a totally normal thing to go through. So triggers are always going to be there. They're never going to go completely away. I just want you to be aware of that. And it's kind of good that they don't, because those triggers, those amygdala freakouts are there to keep us safe, basically. You just don't want to have the extreme reaction that we had in the beginning. So basically it's a matter of, as soon as you realize that you're freaking out because you saw somebody that reminded you of your abuser, oh my God, okay, it's not them. Whew, breathe. I'm safe. I'm okay. It's not them. I don't need to worry. It's all right. Do you see where I'm going with that? So it's basically self-soothing is going to be your friend. So that's what you're going to want to do, is self-soothe, do a lot of self-soothing. They're always going to be there. And, it's kind of like, how do I explain this? It will get less and less as time goes on, but they're always going to be there. So yeah, I will, on occasion, if somebody acts like my dad, oh, you bet your sweet Bippy I get triggered. But then as soon as I realize why, then I'm able to go, okay, breathe. I don't have to put up with this crap, and then walk away. So yeah, the triggers are always going to be there, but the reaction to them will not be as strong. So it's self-soothing, talking yourself down, breathing. That really, breathing is the key, and the self-soothing. So that's what you can do to help lessen the triggers. Okay. And freaking out is normal when you see somebody that looks like your abuser. It is. So don't beat yourself up. I feel guilty and depressed when I talk to my mom. She is verbally abusive. Okay. Abusers, stock and trade is guilt. Fear, obligation, guilt. That's how they manipulate. That's how they control. So if you feel guilty when you're talking to your abuser, don't talk to them. If you were not related to this person, would you have anything to do with them? And if the answer is no, act accordingly. So a lot of times targets of abuse have abusive parents. I did. And we get hit with the whole, oh, but it's your fill in the blank. It's your mom, it's your dad, it's your grandparents, but it's family. Okay, I don't care if they're family. You wouldn't let a total stranger do this to you. Why would you allow family to do this to you? The one thing in this world that is supposed to love and protect you. Why would you allow that? You wouldn't. So if you were not related to them, would you have anything to do with them? I wouldn't. Somebody made me feel guilty and depressed every time I talked to them, I would stop talking to them. So you don't owe them anything. They'll tell you they do. Fear, obligation, and guilt. Okay? They try to make us fearful. They try to intimidate. They try to make us feel obligated, like we owe them. And they try to make us feel guilty when we try to leave. Or if we're not towing the line. Or if we're not, doing exactly what they want. Or kissing their hind end the way they want. So again, if you were not related to them, would you have anything to do with them? And if the answer is no, act accordingly. Do not have anything more to do with them. The depression part, depression, repressed anger. Depression generally, if it's not clinical, is repressed anger. You're mad at her, and you should be. Verbally abusive people have no place in your life. They don't. You've got things to do, people to see, and places to go. And there is no room for a verbally abusive person, whether that is your family or whether that is a total stranger. So don't put up with it and don't feel guilty. Write a breakup letter to the guilt. Dear guilt, I'm breaking up with you. This belongs to mom. I'm not going to do it anymore. I have nothing to feel guilty about. No sane person would put up with abuse as long as I have. It's like you got to remind yourself. It's like, I've put up with this for years. I don't need to put up with this anymore. I don't. So codependency. So when we are raised by abusers, okay, we feel responsible for them. Because remember, they parentify us. They make us responsible for their emotional responses or their miserable life or whatever. My dad's hue and cry was, it's your fault that I can't retire. And he continued to cling to that. Even when I left the house at age 17, he continued to say, oh, well, it's your fault I can't travel. It's your fault I can't retire. And I'm like, dude, you're not giving me any money, so do what you want. Oh, well, I don't have enough money. And then he came up with some other excuse. So they love to make the kid responsible for their stuff. So if you're feeling guilty, hand it back to him. CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving, Pete Walker. If you're feeling responsible for your parents' happiness, which they never have. Abusers don't have happiness, let's be clear. They're not happy. They can't be happy. They don't know what happiness is. So, and they ruin happiness whenever it comes. So if you're feeling like you're responsible for them, The Disease to Please, Harriet Breaker, Codependency, Codependent No More, Melanie Beattie. Read books on codependency. That's being codependent. You're trying to caretake this person. It's not your job. Not your job. So I would say if this person is making you feel guilty and depressed, go no contact. Low to no contact. You do not owe them anything. You do not. And if you were not related to them, would you have anything to do with them? And if you wouldn't, then act accordingly. Okay, so there is that. Okay. My abuser would hurt me, but tell me they were doing it because they loved me and wanted to help me. Is this what they do? Absolutely. Oh my God. Absolutely. I'm doing this for your own good. Really? No, they're not. Love is not hurt. Love does not equal hurt. But abusers equate it with hurting. It's power, it's control. That's what it is. Oh, I'm doing this for your own good. Oh, I'm doing this to help you. If it's hurting the person, it's not helping. And it's certainly not love. Love does not hurt. If it hurts, it ain't love. I cannot stress that enough. And in our society, we've got this strange notion that we only hurt the ones we love. No, only if you're an abuser. So abusers will use that line about, I'm doing this for your own good. Literally, in working in the homeless shelter and in working in child abuse cases, there have been abusers that would beat their kid and while they're beating them, tell them that they loved them. How screwed up is that? Or beat their kid, I'm doing this for your own good. Or this isn't me doing it. This isn't happening. Gaslighting. Crazy. So anyone who tells you that they're hurting you for your own good, they're an abuser. This is what they do. It's part of the gaslighting. It's turning reality on its head. It's flipping the script. It's causing confusion. It's causing cognitive dissonance. So, they're saying one thing, but they're doing another. So yeah, you get away, run away as fast as you can. Get away from this person. They are abusive. Work on self-esteem. The Self-Esteem Workbook, Glenn Schiraldi. The Disease to Please, Harriet Breaker. CPTSD, From Surviving to Thriving, Pete Walker. Get with a good trauma therapist, because this person is doing gaslighting on you. You do not hurt the ones you love. You do not say hurtful things. You do not do it under the guise of, oh, I'm doing this to help you. No, you're not. No, you're doing it because you're enjoying hurting them. So, anyway, there's that. Get away, get away, get away. Okay. Okay, answered that one. Talked about the triggers. Talked about the guilt. Okay. Talk more about abuse amnesia. My abuser will hoover me, and I will want to talk to them again until my family and friends remind me of the abuse. Okay, so abuse amnesia. Generally, take it back to your inner child. When did you first start ignoring being abused, right? So it's interesting how easy it is to fall back under the sway of one of the abusers, because we conveniently forget all the things that they did. Why? Because that inner child wants to get back to that person that they thought they were, and, the magic thinking and the whole thing. So it's good that your family and friends are reminding you of how abusive this person is. You need to remind you of how abusive this person is. Excuse me just a second. I'm going to grab some water. Oh my God. Oh, we've had this mulch fire burning for days. Dear God. Anyway. Okay. So, cognitive dissonance. Incoming information doesn't match what we know. And we don't like the incoming information, so we kick it out. So, when the abuser calls up and says, oh, baby, I was wrong. I miss you. I'll be different. It'll be different this time. I've changed. Let's go to therapy. Oh my God, Houston, danger, huge problem. Holy cow. And you're like starting to fall for it, and you're forgetting all of the abuse. That's abuse amnesia. Okay. That's the cognitive dissonance. It's like, that what he's saying is BS, but but you don't want to believe it. So what I really strongly recommend, instead of relying on the family and the friends to go, hello, he did this, I want you to write it down. I want you to write it down. And here's the other thing. Why is this person still able to get a hold of you? So you're sabotaging. You're sabotaging. That inner child is absolutely sabotaging. Block him or her, whoever this person is. Block them. Block them on every single possible avenue that they can get a hold of you. Write out every rotten thing they ever did to you, and you put it somewhere where you can see it. So that alone, blocking them, will prevent future hoovers, okay? And putting it somewhere where you can see it, so that in case your mind starts going, oh, I really miss them. Oh, we used to do this in the summertime and I really miss it. You go find that list and you read it out loud to yourself, or you read it out loud to a friend. Absolutely. And you remind yourself of what they did to you and that you did not deserve it. Get with a good trauma therapist. Work on this. Work on the cognitive dissonance. Work on that part of you that so desperately wants that person back in your life. The person you want in your life was an illusion. Okay? That love bombing phase, that was an illusion. The real them was the abusive piece of crap that they were. That's the real them. Healthy, normal people do not seek to destroy other people. They just don't. So work on the self-esteem workbook, Glenn Schiraldi, get with a good trauma therapist. Figure out what part of you thinks that this is going to end any differently. What's going on? How old are you in that moment? How old are you? Is it your inner child? And if so, get the Inner Child Workbook by Catherine Taylor or by Lucia Cappuccioni and start working on that. Helping the little one understand you don't need him or her. You don't need an abuser in your life. They weren't real. That love bombing part, that was never real. The real them was the nasty them. That's the real them. Because normal, healthy people don't behave like that. So start working on all of that. Get with a good trauma therapist. Okay, I think that answers all of the questions. Let me double check. Yep. You need to remind yourself of the abuse. You absolutely do. Don't rely on your family and your friends. Block them. Don't allow them to hoover you. I think there's a part of you that is enjoying that he keeps coming back or she keeps coming back and trying to hoover you. So don't allow it. Don't allow it. You don't need it. It doesn't mean anything. All it means is that they've run out of supply and they need a punching bag. Remember that. All right, my loves, go have a great week. And Sunday, we are going to be talking about the smear campaign. Why do they smear? What do they get out of it? What's up with the smear campaign? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how to rise above it and what to do with the flying monkeys and all of that sort of good stuff. So you guys have a great rest of the week, and I will talk to you on Sunday. Bye.